Welcome back to Reddit Talks. Our team carefully creates and hand edits every story to help improve your mindset through storytelling. All of our content is 100% original and human-led. Enjoy the video.
My boss fired me for job hunting after denying my raises for 3 years, but she didn't expect the one move I made next and how fast the power shifted. The termination letter was already printed when I walked into Rebecca's office at 9:47 a.m. on a Thursday. I could see it face down on her mahogany desk, the company letterhead bleeding through the expensive paper like a confession she hadn't meant to show me yet. "Close the door, Daniel," she said, without looking up from her computer screen. My hands went cold. In 6 years at Silverbridge Communications, Rebecca Hartwell had never asked me to close the door. We'd had budget meetings, performance reviews, client crisis debriefs, all conducted with her office door wide open, her preferred power move to remind everyone she had nothing to hide. Closed doors meant secrets. I closed the door. "I'm going to be direct," Rebecca said, finally meeting my eyes. Her perfectly tailored blazer didn't move when she breathed. "We received confirmation that you interviewed with Horizon Marketing Group last Tuesday." My stomach dropped through the floor. "Rebecca, you took a personal day," she continued, her voice flat and surgical. "Told Amanda you had a dentist appointment, but Gregory Foster called me personally to say how impressed he was with your portfolio presentation." Gregory Foster, CEO of Horizon, a man I'd specifically asked to keep our conversation confidential until I'd made a decision. Apparently, confidentiality meant something different in the Seattle marketing world than it did in the dictionary. "I consider this a fundamental breach of loyalty," Rebecca said, sliding the letter across her desk. "But after everything Silverbridge has done for you." I stared at the letter, my name, today's date, the words "immediate termination" in bold. "Security is waiting at your desk," she added. "You have 15 minutes to collect personal items. Your building access has already been revoked." My name is Daniel Wright. I'm 33 years old, and until 9:47 a.m. on that Thursday, I'd spent 6 years of my professional life building Silverbridge Communications into one of Seattle's top boutique marketing agencies. I'd started as a junior account coordinator fresh out of University of Washington, making $42,000 a year and working 80-hour weeks to prove I belonged. Within 2 years, I'd been promoted to account manager. By year 4, and I was handling our 3 largest clients, tech companies that collectively represented 60% of Silverbridge's annual revenue. And for the past 3 years, I'd been asking for a raise that reflected my actual contribution to the company's success. 3 years. 3 meticulously prepared presentations showing industry salary comparisons, my revenue generation, client retention rates, and awards our campaigns had won. 3 different excuses from Rebecca about why now isn't the right time. Year 1, the economy is uncertain. We need to be conservative. Year 2, we're investing in infrastructure. Let's revisit this next quarter. Year 3, just 6 months ago. You're doing excellent work, Daniel, but we have to think about team morale. Giving you a significant raise might create resentment. That last one had been the breaking point. Not anger, not even hurt, just clarity. I was worth more than Rebecca was willing to pay, and I was done waiting for her to realize it. The security guard, a guy named Kevin who I'd chatted with hundreds of times in the lobby, wouldn't meet my eyes as he stood by my desk while I packed my belongings into a cardboard box. "Sorry, man," he muttered. "Not your fault," I said, carefully wrapping the framed photo of my daughter, Emma, in bubble wrap. Around the office, my colleagues had gone silent. Michelle from Creative shot me a devastated look. Ryan from Analytics mouthed, "What happened?" I just shook my head. No drama, no scene, just dignity. I'd learned that from my father, who'd been laid off from Boeing 3 times during my childhood and never once let me see him break. And when the box was full, 6 years of my professional life reduced to family photos, a coffee mug Emma had made me in 3rd grade, and a small succulent plant I'd somehow kept alive, I walked toward the elevator with Kevin trailing awkwardly behind me. Rebecca stood in her office doorway, watching. I stopped, turned, made eye contact. "I hope Silverbridge continues its success," I said, my voice steady despite the rage burning in my chest. "Thank you for the opportunities you've given me." Her expression flickered. Confusion, maybe disappointment that I wasn't begging or crying or making this easier for her to feel justified about. Then I walked out of Silverbridge Communications for the last time. The Seattle rain had started by the time I reached my car. Of course it had. I sat in the driver's seat of my 9-year-old Honda Accord and the cardboard box in the passenger seat and let myself feel it. All of it. The humiliation of being escorted out by security. The betrayal of Gregory Foster's breach of confidence. The cold efficiency of Rebecca's termination. And underneath all of that, something else. Relief. My phone buzzed. A text from my wife, Nicole. How did the morning go? She didn't know yet. Didn't know that the dental appointment excuse I'd used Tuesday hadn't been for an interview. It had been for an interview that went so well they'd asked me back for a second round. Didn't know that I'd been planning to give 2 weeks notice next Monday after securing a formal offer. Didn't know that Rebecca had just accelerated my entire timeline. I typed back, "Long story. Coming home. Love you." Another text came through immediately. This one from an unknown number. "Daniel, this is Gregory Foster. I just heard what happened. Can we talk? Today, if possible. I stared at the message. Gregory had torpedoed my confidentiality by calling Rebecca, but he was also the CEO of a company that wanted to hire me for a position that would pay $145,000, nearly $40,000 more than I was currently making. Past tense now. I typed back, available at 2 p.m. Perfect. I'll send an address. I need to back up to explain how we got here. Silverbridge Communications was Rebecca's baby. She'd founded it 12 years ago after leaving a senior position at a major agency. Built it from nothing into a company with 40 employees and $12 million in annual revenue. She was brilliant, strategically ruthless, creatively fearless, and completely convinced of her own infallibility. For the first 3 years I worked there, I worshipped her. She'd hired me when other agencies wouldn't give me an interview. She'd mentored me personally, teaching me how to think like a strategist instead of just execute tasks. She'd trusted me with increasingly important clients, and I'd rewarded that trust by delivering results that exceeded every projection. But somewhere around year 4, something shifted. I'd landed Titan Systems, a mid-sized tech company looking to rebrand before their Series B funding round. Rebecca had been skeptical. They're too small, she'd said. Not worth the resource allocation. I'd pitched them anyway, on my own time. Won the account. Executed a campaign that helped them raise $30 million and triple their valuation. Rebecca had been thrilled with the revenue. Less thrilled when Titan's CEO, Lauren Mitchell, specifically requested me as their account lead and made it clear in meetings that she considered me the strategic brain behind their success. Red flag number 1, Rebecca started inserting herself into my client meetings, uninvited, undermining my recommendations, taking credit for ideas I'd developed. Red flag number 2, my first raise request came 2 months after the Titan win. Rebecca's response, let's wait until we see how the account performs long term. Red flag number 3, when I won an industry award for the Titan campaign, Best Integrated Marketing Strategy, Pacific Northwest Region, Rebecca accepted the trophy at the ceremony because I'd been out of town at my daughter's school play. She never gave me the trophy. Mai said she'd put it in the office display case where the whole team could appreciate it. It sat there for 2 years, my name on a plaque under Rebecca's acceptance photo, before I stopped looking at it. The second raise request came after I landed Horizon Marketing Group as a client. Ironic, considering that's where I'd end up. Horizon had been looking for an agency to handle their internal marketing, a meta situation where a marketing company needed marketing help. I'd connected with them at a conference, impressed their CMO with a pitch I'd developed over a weekend, and brought in a $200,000 annual contract. Rebecca's response when I asked for a raise, we're investing in new office space. The timing isn't right. She'd signed the lease on a downtown penthouse suite 2 weeks later. The Silverbridge's new offices had floor-to-ceiling windows, a fully stocked bar, and a conference room that cost more than my annual salary. Red flag number 4, I was still working in a cubicle. The third raise request happened after Titan Systems went public. Their IPO was a massive success. Stock price jumped 40% on day 1. Lauren Mitchell sent me a bottle of champagne and a handwritten note thanking me for the branding work that had helped position them for growth. Rebecca saw the note on my desk. That's company property, she'd said, taking the champagne. Client gifts belong to Silverbridge. I didn't argue. I'd learned by then that arguing with Rebecca was like arguing with weather, pointless and exhausting. But I did update my resume that night, and I did start quietly reaching out to contacts in the industry. And when Gregory Foster from Horizon called 6 months later to ask if I'd be interested in discussing a director-level position at their company, I said yes. The Horizon Marketing Group headquarters occupied 3 floors of a glass tower in South Lake Union. Unlike Silverbridge's aggressively trendy aesthetic, exposed brick, industrial lighting, a reception desk made from reclaimed wood, Horizon felt professional and understated. Clean lines, natural light, people who smiled without performing. Gregory Foster met me in the lobby himself. Daniel, he said, shaking my hand warmly, I'm glad you could make it on short notice. He was in his early 50s, with gray hair and the kind of calm energy that came from 30 years of not needing to prove anything to anyone. I appreciate the flexibility, I said, he following him to a conference room. I owe you an apology, Gregory said once we were seated. I didn't realize my call to Rebecca would result in what happened this morning. You called her? I kept my voice neutral. Professional courtesy, he said, looking genuinely regretful. I wanted to let her know we were considering bringing you on, in case she wanted to make a counteroffer. I assumed she'd approach you privately. I had no idea she'd react by terminating you. I took a breath. She saw it as disloyalty. She saw it as losing control, Gregory corrected. Rebecca and I have known each other for 15 years. She's brilliant, but she has a pattern of treating her top talent like property instead of professionals. This surprised me. You know her well? We worked together at Brandscape before she started Silverbridge. If she was a VP, I was a senior strategist. When I left to join Horizon, she didn't speak to me for 3 years. He smiled without humor. So I understand exactly what you're going through. Why did you leave? Same reason you're here, he said simply. I was worth more than she was willing to pay, and I finally valued myself enough to act on it. We talked for 2 hours. Gregory walked me through the director position, leading a team of 8 strategists, overseeing client relationships worth worth $8 million annually and helping Horizon expand into new markets. The salary was $145,000 base, plus performance bonuses that could add another $30,000. But more than the money, he offered something Rebecca never had: respect. I don't believe in ownership of people, Gregory said. If you outgrow this role in 3 years and want to start your own agency, I'll write you a recommendation and celebrate your success. Good talent should be supported, not caged. By the time I left Horizon's offices at 4:30 p.m., I'd signed an offer letter. Start date, Monday, 3 days away. Nicole was waiting when I got home, our daughter Emma coloring at the kitchen table. "Daddy!" Emma launched herself at me, and I caught her, breathing in the scent of grape juice and crayons. "Hey, Bug, how was school? We learned about volcanoes." She wiggled down and ran back to her drawing. "I made you one." I looked at the paper, a purple mountain with orange lava and what appeared to be a dinosaur nearby. "It's perfect." Nicole caught my eye from across the kitchen. "Can we talk?" We stepped into the living room, and I told her everything: the firing, the meeting with Gregory, the offer I'd accepted. Her reaction wasn't what I expected. She hugged me hard. "I'm so proud of you," she said into my shoulder. "I just got fired." "You just escaped," she corrected, pulling back to look at me. "Daniel, you've been miserable for 2 years. You've stayed because you're loyal and responsible, and you wanted to make it work. But Rebecca didn't deserve that loyalty. I'm glad you're finally somewhere that values you." I felt something in my chest unclench. "I'm terrified," I admitted. "Good," Nicole said. "That means it matters." The real earthquake hit on Friday. I was home, technically unemployed for 3 more days, when my phone started blowing up. First text, Michelle from Silverbridge's creative team. "And did you see the email?" Second text, Ryan from Analytics. WTAF is happening. Third text, Lauren Mitchell from Titan Systems. "Call me now." I opened my email. The message was from Rebecca, sent to all Silverbridge staff at 8:47 a.m. "Team, I want to address yesterday's personnel change. Daniel Wright was terminated for breach of company loyalty and violation of confidentiality agreements. His actions put client relationships at risk and demonstrated a fundamental lack of respect for Silverbridge's values. This is a reminder that loyalty is the foundation of our culture. Those who prioritize personal advancement over team success have no place here. I've personally reached out to all clients Daniel was managing to ensure continuity." Rebecca. I read it 3 times. She'd just publicly accused me of misconduct. A lead about confidentiality violations. I'd signed no such agreement beyond standard IP protections, and she'd positioned herself as the hero saving clients from my betrayal. My phone rang. Lauren Mitchell. "Daniel, what the hell is going on?" she said, instead of hello. "Rebecca just called and said you'd been terminated for ethical violations. She tried to schedule a meeting to ensure our relationship remains strong, and I told her to send me documentation of these supposed violations immediately." "There are no violations," I said, my voice tight. "I interviewed for another position. She found out and fired me." "That's what I thought," Lauren said, "because Rebecca Hartwell is many things, but subtle isn't one of them. Daniel, I want you to know, Titan is terminating our contract with Silverbridge. Effective immediately." My breath caught. "Lauren, you don't have to." "This isn't charity," she cut me off. "You're the only reason we stayed with them. Rebecca's been trying to insert herself into our strategy sessions for a year, and frankly, she doesn't understand our business the way you do." "Where are you going?" "Horizon Marketing Group. I start Monday. Send me Gregory Foster's contact information," she said. "We're going to have a conversation about bringing Titan over as a client." Over the next 4 hours, I received similar calls from 2 other clients I'd managed at Silverbridge. Vertex Analytics, $180,000 annual contract. CEO Christopher Barnes said Rebecca's email had raised red flags about the company's professionalism, and they'd be seeking other agencies. Summit Solutions, $220,000 annual contract. The CMO Alicia Thompson said simply, "We hired you, Daniel, not Silverbridge. Send me your new contact information." By Friday evening, Rebecca had lost nearly $600,000 in annual revenue, and she had no idea it was about to get worse. Gregory called Saturday morning. "I don't know what you did," he said, "but my phone has been ringing off the hook. Lauren Mitchell from Titan wants to bring her account to Horizon. Christopher Barnes from Vertex. Alicia Thompson from Summit. All 3 specifically requesting you as their strategist." "I didn't do anything," I said honestly. Rebecca sent an email to staff implying I'd committed ethical violations. The clients saw through it. Gregory was quiet for a moment. "Daniel, this puts you in an interesting position. Those 3 accounts represent significant revenue. Horizon would be thrilled to bring them on, but I need to know, are you comfortable with this?" "Comfortable with what?" "With being the reason Rebecca's company takes a major hit," he said bluntly. "Because that's what's happening, and it's going to be public, and it's going to be messy, and you need to be okay with that before we move forward." I thought about Rebecca taking credit for my award, about 3 years of denied raises while she leased penthouse offices, about being escorted out by security like a criminal, about her email calling me disloyal. "I'm comfortable," I said. "Good," Gregory said. "Then let's make this official. We'll announce the new client relationships Monday. Your first day is going to be busy." Monday morning, 8 a.m., I walked into Horizon Marketing Group as an employee for the first time. I'm carrying the same confidence I'd been suppressing for 3 years at Silverbridge. My new office had windows, actual windows with a view of Lake Union. My new team, 8 bright, talented strategists who actually seemed happy to meet me, gathered for introductions at 9 a.m. and at 10 a.m. Horizon's PR team sent out a press release. Horizon Marketing Group announces Strategic Expansion Seattle, WA. Horizon Marketing Group is pleased to announce the addition of Daniel Wright as Director of Client Strategy. Wright brings extensive experience in tech sector marketing and will lead the agency's expansion into emerging markets. Horizon has also added 3 significant new client partnerships: Titan Systems, Vertex Analytics, and Summit Solutions, collectively representing $600,000 in annual contracts. Daniel is exactly the kind of strategic thinker we want leading our growth, said Gregory Foster, CEO. His track record speaks for itself. My phone started buzzing at 10:07 a.m. Texts from former Silverbridge colleagues, congratulations from industry contacts, a LinkedIn notification showing my profile had been viewed 347 times in the past hour, and one email from an unknown sender with the subject line, "You're going to regret this." I opened it. "You stole my clients. You violated non-compete agreements. I will pursue legal action for damages. You haven't heard the last of this. RH." I forwarded the email to Gregory with a note. "Heads up, Rebecca is threatening legal action." His response came back in under a minute. "Expected. Our attorneys are ready. Don't engage. I'll let us handle it." The legal action arrived Wednesday. A cease and desist letter from Silverbridge's attorney demanding I immediately cease solicitation of former Silverbridge clients and claiming I'd violated non-compete and confidentiality agreements. Horizon's legal team, led by an attorney named Vanessa Park, who had 15 years of employment law experience, shredded it in under an hour. "There's no enforceable non-compete in your employment contract," Vanessa explained in her office. Surrounded by law books and case files, Washington State has very strict requirements for non-competes, and Silverbridge's version doesn't meet them. It's too broad, lacks reasonable geographic limitation, and doesn't specify protectable interests. "What about the clients?" I asked. "You didn't solicit them," Vanessa said. "So they contacted Horizon independently after learning of your departure. That's legal. Rebecca can't claim ownership of business relationships you built personally." She leaned back in her chair. "Here's what's actually happening. Rebecca is panicking because she's losing revenue and trying to intimidate you into backing down. We're not going to let that happen." Vanessa drafted a response that essentially said, "Bring it." More formally, it stated that I'd violated no agreements, that Silverbridge's non-compete was unenforceable, and that any further threats would be considered harassment. The letter also included a politely worded warning that if Rebecca continued making defamatory statements about my character, referencing her internal email, Horizon would pursue legal action on my behalf. Rebecca went silent after that. The fallout at Silverbridge came in waves. Week 1, Michelle from Creative resigned and joined a competitor. She texted me, "Watching Rebecca self-destruct was the push I needed. Thank you for showing us there's life after this place." Week 2, Ryan from Analytics accepted a position at Amazon. His exit email, which someone forwarded to me, thanked Rebecca for creating an environment that motivated him to pursue better opportunities. Week 3, 2 junior account managers quit on the same day. By the end of the month, Silverbridge had lost 6 employees and 5 major clients. Rebecca tried damage control, LinkedIn posts about exciting new directions and upcoming partnerships, but industry insiders weren't buying it. A former colleague sent me a screenshot of Silverbridge's Glassdoor page, though the recent reviews were brutal. Toxic management, great at taking credit, terrible at giving raises. CEO fires top talent, then blames them for client departures. Unprofessional. If you value your career, go literally anywhere else. 3 months after my firing, I ran into Rebecca at an industry conference. She looked older, thinner. Her trademark confidence had developed cracks. "Daniel," she said, her voice careful. "Rebecca." Awkward silence. "I hear Horizon is doing well," she said finally. "We are. And Titan just went through another funding round. Series C," I confirmed. "Lauren's thrilled with the growth." More silence. "You could have given me 2 weeks," she said, and for the first time she sounded almost human. A chance to make a counteroffer. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing. Not anger, not vindication, just distance. "I gave you 3 years," I said quietly. 3 separate requests for recognition that matched my contribution. You had every chance to value me before I started looking elsewhere. I was trying to be fair to the whole team. You were trying to keep me small," I interrupted. "Because when I succeeded, it made you feel less necessary. And rather than celebrating that, you punished it." Her face flushed. "It doesn't matter anymore," I said. "Not cruelly, just factually. You made your choice. I made mine. We're both living with the consequences." I started to walk away, then stopped. "For what it's worth," I added, "I hope you figure out how to lead without controlling. You're talented enough, and you just have to trust that your people's success doesn't diminish yours." I didn't wait for a response. 6 months after leaving Silverbridge, my life looked nothing like the one Rebecca had tried to end. Horizon had promoted me to senior director with an expanded team and responsibilities across the entire West Coast region. Titan Systems' continued growth had brought in referrals from other tech companies. My client portfolio had tripled. My salary had increased by another $25,000. But more than the professional success, I'd learned something essential about worth and value. Rebecca had taught me, unintentionally, that loyalty is only meaningful when it's mutual, that you can't build a career on someone else's permission, that sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is actually the best thing, disguised as disaster. Nicole framed the termination letter Rebecca had given me, hung it in my home office with a handwritten note beneath it. The day everything changed. Emma, now 8, asked me once why I kept a letter that said I was fired. Because it reminds me, I told her, that sometimes when people close a door, they're actually setting you free. A year after my firing, I received a LinkedIn message from Gregory Foster. I have news. Call when you can. I called immediately. Rebecca Hartwell is shutting down Silverbridge, Gregory said without preamble. Effective end of this quarter. She's liquidating assets and dissolving the company. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no schadenfreude, just a quiet acknowledgement of cause and effect. What happened? I asked. She lost too many clients too quickly, Gregory explained. Well, couldn't recover from the revenue drop. Tried to rebuild, but word had gotten out about her management style. Good talent wouldn't join. Existing talent kept leaving. The math stopped working. Where is she going? Back to corporate, from what I hear. Senior VP role at a larger agency where she won't have final authority. He paused. Daniel, I'm not telling you this to gloat. I'm telling you because you should know. What happened wasn't your fault. It was hers. I know, I said, and I meant it. The last communication I received from Rebecca came 2 weeks before Silverbridge officially closed. A short email, no subject line. Daniel, you were right about everything. I just wish I'd realized it before it was too late. I hope Horizon treats you the way you deserve to be treated here. I read it 3 times, and then I filed it away without responding. Not out of spite, not out of cruelty, but because some chapters close themselves and trying to add a postscript doesn't change how the story ended. If you made it this far, here's what I learned. Never wait for permission to value yourself. Don't stay somewhere that treats loyalty as a one-way transaction. And when someone shows you who they are, when they deny your worth repeatedly, when they punish your success, when they prioritize control over partnership, believe them.